Edelweiss and CNBC TV18 present Change India Season 3. The work begins now.
Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of Change India. Last week, we witnessed Prime Minister Modi's ambitious smart city plan for a technologically integrated and smarter urban India. Today's episode will focus on the Prime Minister's Dhan Yojana. It's a national initiative seeking to bring all households under the financial radar. Announced by Narendra Modi in his speech on Independence Day, the mega scheme was launched shortly after that. Its objective to connect the poor of India to the country's economy. Let's take a look at the impact of this ambitious project almost 7 months post the launch.
इस प्रधानमंत्री जन धन योजना के माध्यम से हम देश के गरीब से गरीब लोगों को बैंक अकाउंट की सुविधा से जोड़ना चाहते हैं।
The Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana is a nationwide scheme launched by the Narendra Modi government in August 2014. To put it simply, this scheme aims to eradicate financial untouchability in the country by providing every citizen with a bank account, including those at the bottom of the pyramid. Now, unfortunately, in India, the poor are stuck in a vicious cycle of debt, and they even find it difficult to get out of their current financial circumstances. In such a case, the Jan Dhan Yojana plays a pivotal role of integrating the poorest of the poor with a bank account. Shortly after its launch, the Jan Dhan Yojana took the nation by storm and set the record for opening the maximum number of bank accounts in the shortest period of time. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana is definitely helpful to the rural sector of the country, where access to banking services and financial institutions are scarce and very limited. For Ashwini and her husband, who are both farmers in Poi village, making ends meet for their family has been quite challenging. Expenses like farming equipments, education fees for their 4 children and unforeseen medical emergencies leave them with no savings even after working so hard.
मी आणि माझे पती मुलं पूर्वीपासून आम्ही शेतीचाच व्यवसाय करतो. एवढ्या शेतीच्याच उत्पन्नामध्ये आम्ही घर खर्च, मुलाचं शिक्षण आणि पोरांचं आजारपण दवाखाना त्याच्यातच करतो. त्यामुळे आमच्याकडे पैसे राहत नव्हते. याची चिंता लागली होती का पैसे कसं राहतील. एवढी मेहनत करून सुद्धा पैसे राहत नाही.
Primitive living conditions, large families and daily expenses result in a deficiency of savings made by the poor people. The Jan Dhan Yojana therefore becomes a catalyst in helping them deposit money into a bank account, making savings a regular habit for the financially underprivileged.
See, what happens when people who don't have too much of disposable surplus, when they earn money, unless they're able to put that money into an account, they end up spending it. You know, you can have wayward husbands who take the money and blow it up. You can have sudden other desires to go and spend it on some consumables. So if you don't, whatever is the excess that remains with you at the end of the day, if you immediately deposit it into a bank account, then the saving is protected. To that extent, their savings will go up. Not only that, they start creating a credit history. A history which says that this is the amount of money that this person can save in a month. Once banks have an idea as to the amount of money that you can save in the bank, they will be in a position to give them loans based on their savings capacity. And therefore, it enables these people to have greater access to organized finance and not to have to go to money lenders who charge usurious rates of interest. So there are hundreds of BCs, business correspondents, who are able to give you the service. And these BCs, through their customer service points, they are there in every village.
गोयलीच्या ग्रामीण बँकेतून साहेब आले, त्याही आम्हाला जनधन खात्याची माहिती दिली.
Ashwini is all set to secure her family's finances by enrolling for the Jan Dhan Yojana. The Jan Dhan Yojana is not only beneficial for individuals but their entire household.
We have opened every account from each family of the villages. Though these accounts were opened with the zero balance, customers have deposited 60 crores rupees in our bank.
I want to welcome this Jan Dhan Yojana. First of all, I feel very proud of this Jan Dhan Yojana because it will give a standing for each and every one in this country. This is the first time our government has come up with a possibility that you can actually feel that you have some amount of saving.
Government comes up with so many schemes, but they don't reach the poor. Basically, I find this particular scheme, the Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana, it's going to benefit the people more from the rural village.
Well, considering the financial scenario of India's rural sector, the Jan Dhan Yojana was the need of the hour. After this short break, we'll take a look at how the banks have adapted to the Jan Dhan Yojana despite all the challenges, and we'll also see some of the benefits under the scheme. Stay tuned.
Edelweiss and CNBC TV18 present Change India Season 3. Season 3. The work begins now.
Welcome back. The Jan Dhan Yojana was launched with a big bang as a measure towards financial inclusion of the poor in the national mainstream. Let's have a look as to why it was the need of the hour and how the launch was received nationwide.
In our country, as per the 2011 census, we had just 58.7% of the households having any kind of access to banking facilities. So once we look at PMJDY, there are already deposits of more than 13,900 crore which have flown into the banking system. And this is the kind of money that the banks will obviously make use of in the country's development. So I think before the PMJDY, we were not able to bring a large majority of our population into the formal banking system. And after that, we have been able to make it possible.
The Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, when it was launched, it was a big challenge. We all thought, oh my God, 7.5 crore accounts and so on and so forth. But we landed up with 13 crores.
The launch itself, was, of course, we were given very tight timelines, and therefore it was a major challenge in the sense that we had to scale up very, very quickly in order to achieve the numbers.
Despite a record-breaking launch and a great impact thereafter, the Jan Dhan Yojana faced certain issues and challenges. With a growing number of new accounts, meeting logistical needs and training personnel also became the need of the hour.
The greatest challenge is that we must provide these people who have come, who are new to the banking system, we must first of all provide them the financial literacy and how they should go about operating their accounts, how they should handle credit, how they should handle pensions and insurance, and we should provide them very good quality of service. In fact, if you look at it, we have tried and expanded the Bank Mitra channel or the business correspondent channel. There are about 125,000 of them in the field. But there are challenges in the field. Not all of them are at the same level of financial literacy themselves. So we are starting a program of training them across banks, and then they will be able to provide the services in a much more professional manner. I think it will be extremely important for the new people who have come to the banking system to get top quality banking service, and that's the challenge that we have taken on ourselves.
We found a lot of challenges in reaching out to the last mile, doing the survey of each and every household and trying to get them to open accounts with us. It is also a challenge to drive the financial literacy program across this population. We have a number of financial literacy centers, and almost 60,000 people have been trained through financial literacy program. But more than opening the accounts, I think the important message that we need to give them is that banking is easy, banking is affordable, banking is convenient.
See, mainly the issues, as I said, was issue of scaling up very quickly, because opening this many accounts in that short a period of time, basically, the number of accounts that we were opening, all of a sudden we were opening 4 times that number on a daily basis. Not only that, we also had challenges about scaling up on the issue of plastic, that's the card. So the cards, as you know, they are outsourced from vendors. So the vendors also had to be helped in order to be able to scale quickly and to be able to card all of the accounts that were coming up, and also on creating the number of the amount of literacy material, because financial literacy had also to be pushed at the same time, and we had to do surveys of the SSAs of the allotted areas. We had to do surveys of those areas to determine who were the excluded people, and then go ahead and ensure that all of them got covered.
In spite of the initial hurdles, the Jan Dhan Yojana provides many lucrative benefits. Not only does it promise universal access to banking services, but also added advantages of access to a debit card, insurance, loans and pension facility for all the citizens across the nation.
See, one is that you get an access to a bank account, and the second most important part is that coupled with this bank account, you are also getting a debit card. Earlier, the bankers were very wary of giving debit cards to people who were illiterates or who were, marginalized section of the society. So, debit card was supposed to be an esoteric thing which could only be given to very rich people or people who had balances beyond any particular amount. But this time it was, they were getting a debit card automatically while opening the account. And on this debit card was riding 100,000 rupees worth of accident insurance. So that was very, very attractive to most of the people. And on top of that, in the PMJDY period, there was also a scheme of life insurance cover of about 30,000. Then there were benefits related to overdraft. If you are doing a good transaction, good number of transactions in your account, then you are able to get an overdraft from the bank. On top of that, this year we have also added two insurance schemes and one pension scheme, which will be provided, on a contribution basis to the account holders. So I think the full suite of financial services which were available was really the attraction point in PMJDY.
Now, what happens is if a person has a Jan Dhan Yojana account, on the way to work or while coming back from work, that money can be deposited into the CSP, and as a result, the savings grow.
Money which is retained with them at home doesn't earn anything, rather there is a risk of it being consumed. However, if you put it in a bank, to that extent your consumption probably will be deferred, delayed, number one. Number two, you could gain some interest, a minimum of 4% in savings account, and maybe slightly higher when it goes to term deposits, which will help you in savings, in small savings over a period of time to meet certain larger expenses that come in period of time. So this is a small message that we give them at the time when they open their account.
An expanded financial architecture cannot survive without financial literacy. New age technology is helping the scheme to reach out to the remotest of areas, thus making the Jan Dhan Yojana a game changer for the Indian economy.
We actually shared a large number of financial literacy films and other things with the banks. Now technology makes it possible for you to upload those things, and even in very remote places in the northeast also those films were downloaded and shown to people. So I think there was a great deal of technological support that we could have in these times.
We have a number of financial literacy centers, and almost 60,000 people have been trained through financial literacy program. But more than opening the accounts, I think the important message that we need to give them is that banking is easy, banking is affordable, banking is convenient. It's one thing to give them a RuPay card and a PIN, but to tell them how to use the RuPay card, where it can be used, what is a Chota ATM, what is a Bank Mitra, how do you secure your PIN, how do you make sure that the card and the PIN work together, in what way. Now, these sort of literacy efforts are a huge challenge for us. In 380 centers where we have our regional business offices, we have what we call TLCs, Technology Learning Centers, set up. Now, these technology learning centers are basically both theory and practical applications are driven through it. We also encourage at those centers that we have, we put there all the machines, cash deposit machines, ATMs, Chota ATMs, for people to do an practical training of what is to be done. So these are the initiatives that the bank has also been taking to try and overcome challenges on account of financial illiteracy.
I think financial literacy in villages is very important because if we, for example, take a category of drivers in metros or in cities, they hail from some or the other village. They have families living in the villages. Their life is certainly divided into two parts. The city life is something which helps them earn money, and the village life where they want to probably secure their dreams. So it's very important to literate their better halves, better families, leftover families in villages to literate when it comes to finances, because the rest of the family gets to understand how I can value this hard-earned money.
It's time for another break. On the other side, we take a look at the RuPay card, which is a key feature of the Dhan Yojana, and it attempts to electronically connect to the remotest of the villages. Stay tuned.
Edelweiss and CNBC TV18 present Change India Season 3. The work begins now.
Welcome back. With technology simplifying life at all levels, it is a blessing that the Dhan Yojana provides a RuPay debit card to the account holders. A new concept for the rural sector, electronic operation of accounts is sure to make transactions easy and cost-effective for everyone.
The reaction has been quite very positive, I would say. In some centers it is actually euphoric, in the sense that a lot of them have not used a card, a lot of them have not seen an ATM. To see money, 500 rupees falling through the bin for them is a novel experience. All they have to carry is the card in their pocket and the pin in their mind.
The RuPay card has become an integral part of Dhan scheme for the primary reason that Dhan scheme in the current avatar is not just account opening. The accounts would have to be operated, and the operation of account can easily be done electronically, and it would be cost effective. RuPay is already there in the country as a domestic card payment scheme, so why not to leverage? 1. 2. RuPay card has also got a unique feature of biometric authentication with the use of Aadhaar. RuPay scheme is one such scheme which gives a lot of power in the hands of the banks in India to determine their own payment mechanism. There are very few countries, handful of countries who have systems of their own. US obviously, then Japan, and then China, and India is the fourth country. NPCI's vision to touch every Indian by 2020 with some form or other. The RuPay card appears to be the best way really we can really reach out.
ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग हैं जिनको एटीएम कार्ड कभी उन्होंने ऑपरेट नहीं किया होगा, कभी ऐसे भी कुछ लोग हैं जिन्होंने एटीएम कार्ड कभी देखा भी नहीं है, तो हम उनको समझाते हैं ये कार्ड का मतलब ये है कि आपको कहीं से भी पैसा निकल सकते हैं.
All things said and done, the Dhan Yojana has definitely helped the people who live below the poverty line to become more financially confident. It has provided every citizen of the country access to a bank account and also insurance coverage, which previously was almost impossible for them. With the Dhan Yojana, India can look forward to a bright future for its financially underprivileged people.
Well, like everything else, the Dhan Yojana has its pros and cons, but so far, it succeeded in allowing every citizen the right to have their own bank account and insurance coverage. Previously impossible for almost all the population living beneath the poverty line. Next week we'll be focusing on Make in India. Until then, keep watching CNBC TV18.
Edelweiss and CNBC TV18 present Change India Season 3. The work begins now.